Farmers are on the roads again. Thousands of farmers are on the outskirts of Delhi. Among their demands are a legal guarantee for minimum support price for crops and a 10,000 rupee monthly pension for farmers. Now, a majority of the farmers are from Punjab. So the question we're asking is this a farmer problem or is this a Punjab farmer problem? Joining me to discuss this is Agri Economist Devinder Sharma and my colleague Kartikeya Sharma in the studio here. Mr. Sharma, I want to start by asking you this. A lot of the farmers that are protesting seem to be from Punjab, which in fact is it's a fact. Why is agriculture such a burning topic in Punjab? The granary of India, one time the place where the Green Revolution took root and spread through the rest of the country. Why is Punjab in such a crisis today?
Well, I think you answered your own question that why are farmers protesting is the reason is simple. Even the granary of India is feeling the pinch of being ignored all these years, the neglect and apathy that, over the successive governments over the years, we have seen farmers being, not only ignored but missed out as far as the economic growth of the country is concerned. And they feel agitated because they are fighting for economic justice and they are also fighting for a kind of economic design which has always kept farmers at, merely at a survival level. And for what the farmers are looking for is a dignity of labor, which means unless, you get a living income, you are not going to be economically viable. So that is what the fight is all about.
Mr. Sharma, now, is this a problem of the farmers or is it just because of the successive policies of the state government there that have kind of made agriculture non-viable? Punjab has not had political stability also for a while. Is that the reason why you're looking at the kind of chaos in the agricultural sector in Punjab today?
No, I don't think so. It is because of the state government's role or successive state government's role. It is primarily because of the policies of the government, successive governments that has already kept agriculture at that particular level. I have always said that the economic design is so cast that it has deliberately kept agriculture impoverished. Even economic reforms are focusing on essentially two things, that the raw material that comes for the industry and also agriculture provides cheap labor for the industry. So you sacrifice agriculture. That is why you can keep the economic reforms viable. The mere fact that the farmer's income goes up, the macroeconomic policies will try to project it as if the inflation is going up. Aloo pyaj decides the economy of the country. I wonder, whether we realize it or not, actually inflation rate is not coming from aloo pyaj. It is coming from health, education, and housing. And nobody wants to include that in the consumer price index. It's always, when it comes to inflation, you want to keep the prices low, and that is what is worrying farmers. How long can they go on bearing this?
Right, absolutely. And Kartikeya, I want to bring you in on this point here, that Punjab was once the agrarian, it was the granary of India, but every other state seems to have left it behind. It was number 1, number 2, today it's number 10, 12, and farmers are in a problem.
I think Punjab is a prisoner of its own success. The success of the 70s and the label of Punjab being the granary of India. I think Punjab needs to be de-addicted from wheat. Right. Punjab needs to be de-addicted from rice. Punjab is also facing the heat of climate change. Punjab is also facing the problem of soil infertility. Right. Punjab is also facing the crisis of deindustrialization. They are, everything put together creates a crisis. Industries have shifted to southern Himachal Pradesh.
Yes.
We would expect industries to be part and parcel of Punjab, but they are more in Himachal Pradesh. So there are a lot of things which are contributing to the distress, and then comes the Arthriya economy, which is something unique to Punjab.
Middlemen. Yes.
Middlemen. So political instability adds to it. It adds anxiety to it. Yes. Political instability creates bigger platforms for the protests sometimes instead of resolving them.
Right.
Instead of resolving them at Chandigarh, it created a platform for them to walk towards Delhi.
Yes.
So I would say that it really requires a larger effort on part of both state and center, because the water tables are going to go down.
Yes.
Rainfall is going to be more chaotic. We will have weather fluctuation. I'm not saying millet is the only way out.
Yes.
That's too simplistic. I'm not an economist nor an agricultural scientist, but I do understand that it affects the fabric of the society. Then you have the hidden unemployment in agricultural sectors.
Yes.
It's just that my understanding is that I think it's towards the tipping point.
Yeah.
And I think it should be resolved.
Right. And Mr. Sharma, this obviously needs to be resolved. It's a crisis that you're looking at in Punjab. Like as Kartikeya mentioned, there's infertility of the soil, there's fertilizers, rampant use of fertilizers. The water tables are shrinking. They're going deeper and deeper every year.
Why should Punjab bear the burden of
yes.
producing rice and wheat?
That's
why should Punjab bear the burden?
Punjab's addiction to wheat and rice, the two MSP crops. Is it time for a diversification of crops? Is it possible at this stage? What's your opinion on this? Other states have diversified into crops, but Punjab continues to hold on to this two crop pattern.
See, what we normally project as the crisis in Punjab is also the crisis within the country.
Yes.
Let's be very clear about it. And having said that, I think what is killing agriculture is because the economic focus is to go for industrialization and
Correct.
so on. As I said earlier,
Correct.
the focus is, or the effort is, to see that we can draw labor force only from agriculture. So
Yeah.
therefore, we deliberately keep agriculture impoverished.
Right,
That's
right.
the best way to push people out of agriculture.
Right.
Now, having said that, let me also add here that globally, farmers are being blamed for the environmental damages or the environmental
Yes.
disruption that has happened, including the greenhouse gas emissions. 1/3 of the greenhouse gas emissions comes from agriculture. The entire food system is coming out with about 34% greenhouse gas emission. So that is why we have seen in Europe, for instance, where
Yeah.
16 to 17 countries see a farmers' protest, unprecedented farmers' protest. One of the demand of the farmers is that they will not change from the intensive farming practices, because this is what the farmers were forced to do all these years.
Yes.
Now, this is what exactly in Punjab the government was trying to tell farmers to go in for wheat and paddy, go for intensive agriculture and so on. Now, when the problem goes out of the hand, it is so easy to blame farmers. Look at it.
Right.
And I find the economists and the policymakers and the media continuously blaming the farmers for the ills. Farmers just did what the government wanted them to do. And I think
Right.
if more sagacious or saner policies were adopted, farmers would have gone towards that also. But fact of the matter is, Punjab farmers are demanding that the MSP be legalized, which means they are actually talking about the benefit it will accrue to farmers all across the country.
Right.
They already get wheat and paddy as the procurement price. They get it, as we all know. They get the MSP, but they want the entire country's farmers also to benefit from MSP. That would mean the focus would shift to other crops. When you say diversification, if let's say in Punjab, if I shift from paddy to maize, even the minimum support price that the government announces, is not implemented. So how do you expect farmers to suffer the consequences or the loss? So why can't we come out with a kind of economic policy which makes or provides farmers with a guaranteed price? That is
Right.
the way forward. And I'm sure people should accept it rather than create a kind of illusion or create a kind of fear psychosis
Right.
that this will destabilize the country and so on. In fact, in my understanding, farmers getting a legal price or a guarantee will see a economic boom in the country.
Right.
So only about 14% farmers in this country get MSP.
Yes.
86% farmers are dependent on markets and they are
On
suffering.
markets,
If
right.
86% get more income in their hand, look at the GDP galloping, because after all, they're going to spend the money in the markets,
Right.
and which means the demand will be huge. And I'm sure the GDP will be into double digits immediately. That's
Right.
the boom that the country is looking forward to. Why are we creating a fear psychosis saying this much crore, or, I see a lot of figures being tossed around as the burden on the country. No, it will
Right.
actually try to see that the country becomes a kind of a real wish guru in the world.
Right. Well, Kartikeya, this point that Mr. Sharma mentioned about the fact that you need to actually give that MSP to the farmers, but the government has a different take on it. They're saying that it will break the economy. It's
See,
like
government has a
1/3 of the
take.
GDP will be
Government
spent
feels
in
that 10 lakh
MSP.
crores out of 45 lakh
Yeah.
crores are unsustainable. The government came out with the release day before yesterday saying this is what we have done. I mean to say, when we locate a story as a journalist, the truth is somewhere between. I know when they organize themselves, it's for the maximum mileage.
Yes.
And when the government defends itself through rhetoric, it's for the maximum mileage.
Yeah.
So I would say the truth is between. It is for this reason 3 ministers are in Chandigarh.
Yes.
If the demands would have been so unreasonable, the 3 chief ministers wouldn't have been there. Their Piyush Goyal is there. So obviously there will be a meeting ground. Obviously when you start bargaining, you start from the top. Now it's like Janpat. You say $50, the other guy says, no, it has to be 20. Then you say it's okay, 25.
Yeah.
So that's how the political bargaining works. But I think there's also one thing which has happened in this government with the full majority, that popular protest is not working against them electorally.
Right.
If you look at the election results, wherever the protests have taken place, it has not worked against them.
Right.
And it is for this reason Chaudhry Charan Singh's grandson Jayant is in BJP, not with Samajwadi Party. And I remember covering all those Bhaichar rallies with him in the heydays of the Kisan Andolan. The Jats didn't go to SP. They when it came to the vote, they voted for BJP. Right. So it also tells us sociologically that Kisan identity of 70s may be different from the Kisan politics of today, because it's far more fractured. It's not Ajgar or Chaudhry Charan Singh.
Absolutely. That's actually a different road you're going down, Kartikeya. The fact that farmers have not been able to mobilize politically and to hold the government hostage at the
Kisan
election
as a constituency which sticks
vanished.
together for a vote.
Yes.
Kisan as a social and economic constituency is there, but if you ask me, electorally, no. They vote on their caste lines, they will vote on the regional lines.
The farmer vote is non-existent.
If Kisan as a bloc entity would have been there, then majority of Jat should have voted against Bharatiya Janata Party in 2021.
Right.
Uttar Pradesh Assembly election, it did not happen.
Western UP.
I mean to say, yes, Kisan is an economic entity, Kisan is a social entity, but is Kisan an electoral entity today? I doubt it.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.